Hello everyone, welcome back to another Go opening video. Today we'll be talking about the very recent first match of the ChunLan Cup final between Tang Weixin 9P and Xin Jinsei 9P. We'll be just looking at their opening, but I will attach a link to their SGF for the full game if you're interested in checking it out. And obviously comment below the video if you want me to review the full game. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. So without further ado, let's get started. Tang Weixin is playing as black. They started out with a symmetric, and then Tang Weixin plays a small knight. White approaches, black plays the other small knight. This is a very common defense for professional players. I highly encourage you to play this as well. I covered this in my Joseki lectures as well. So the very common follow-up locally is for white to play the extension like this or the extension like this. And of course, this would not be a mistake either. This would be a correct move as well. In the actual game, Xin decided to play a more niche variation to avoid, well, because people study so hard with AI these days, Xin wants to avoid his opponent memorizing the exact moves, so he decided to play elsewhere, and then letting black getting this excellent point. White follows up by building himself. Black splits, which is a little bit rare nowadays with the split, but you can obviously play out the split if you, and I mean, I really recommend it, right? Like if you understand what you're doing, and actually I don't know what is hard to understand. It's really easy to understand. If white pincers you from the bottom, you can play a let's say this is actually what is playing in the game, but let's say if white plays pincer like this, we can play the two space extension. Very simple. You play here, I can play here. You play here, I can hop out, right? This is not what is played, but I definitely recommend you to play out like this. If you just want simplicity, right, in your opening. This is no one can criticize you for playing like this. So in the actual game, as I said, Xin pincers over here, and so instead of defending, black decided to attach and ask a question. It's a probing move, and it's basically testing what white is going to play, and then according to that, he's going to decide what to play elsewhere. Against this move, I talked about it in my invasion series. It's a common invasion technique. If white plays here, later on we have a clamp and then extend. So these two guys gonna help us out. If white plays here, which is a very fierce variation, black can squeeze, and later on, there's the possibility to live the corner, right? At least with, in this case, black can just attach out, right? There's a possibility to live the corner. In the actual game, Xin decided to focus on territory, and Tang Weixin decided to play this J4 move. This is an excellent move, and I really like this move because it's not following the traditional thought, right? Tang Weixin has his very own ideas. That is to expand himself and not worry about this move, right? So a lot of times, in our mind, this is a must-play move, but actually in a game of Go, there's no such a thing as must-play move in the opening. And this move shows you that as long as you understand what you're doing, that is to focus on your right side. Alright, so I advanced a little bit too much. Against this move, white decides to take that possibility away from black. Well, this is a must-play move because since black already got this excellent point, white takes black's possibility to extend away. Alright, the next move. Why do I keep going so far? I don't understand. All right, the next move, white decided to play the shoulder hit. This is an excellent point. So here's just what I want to talk a little bit about ideas, right? What makes Go opening great? How do you excel at Go opening is through the understanding of this game. We can see that this is an influence versus influence game. So when it's an influence versus influence game, usually invasion is not the best idea, right? A lot of players would probably be like, well, I'm worried about what black is building over here. It looks huge. I'm gonna invade right now. However, this is a great move. However, the idea is, it's, I wouldn't say this is a wrong move or a mistake, but the idea is a slightly not so great, because when you invade, you would easily, let's say we play out a Joseki like this. So let's see. Yeah, so black plays here and then white jumps. I'm just playing a very traditional Joseki to show you the stuff. So great, we have lived the corner with some points, but then when black plays here, see, our problem is not solved at this point because our idea was not clear about the entire board, right? We got a corner, we're comfortable, but then when K16 is played, it's sort of suppressed. It suppresses our Moyo over here because this move is obviously influencing our Moyo, but is also expanding black's Moyo. We still have a very giant Moyo to deal with. This game is still playable, but eventually what ends up happening to most of my viewers, right? And I just say they're mostly in the single digit queue, marching to down level. What happens a lot to you guys is that you invade everywhere, and then you make 6-7 points everywhere, and then eventually you would lose by like 10 points. And this is what happens because now we're kind of running for our lives, right? Like this is making some points over here. Now we gotta invade. Maybe we gotta live a group over here, right? Like we get something over here. It doesn't solve the problem. We're not generating much points, right? The problem still remains in a Moyo fight situation. So eventually what happens is, let's say this happens, and then we invade over here. Okay, black let us live. And then eventually black was able to secure all this territory, while in the meantime, when we try to live, black is gonna do all kinds of things to us. And then all of our territory over here got diminished, and eventually we're gonna lose by 10 points. So to avoid that from happening, if that sounds familiar to you and you want to avoid that, is to sort of start to appreciate what Shin is doing over here. That is to have a global understanding of the game, right? So when our opponent has a giant Moyo, it's important to understand that we also have a very big Moyo over here. And it's a great idea to expand ourselves first, and then letting our opponent invade us, and then let our opponent run for his life, right? This is a very advanced idea, but I think it's very important to state it and then start to appreciate it. This is such a bright move because it reduces black's Moyo and also expands white's influence. With this move, I'd say you could probably feel the pressure at C10, right? This is how much influence the exercise. It literally feels like the gravitational force of the sun on Earth. Like it's so far away, but you can just feel it. You can feel like this connection is kind of cut off, right? So this is how great this move is. And it's played by the #1 player in the world. All right, maybe it's hard to appreciate right now, but it's okay. As you watch more of my videos, you probably start to you would probably start to become a really great, expert at opening. White hops out, following the same idea. Now we can see there's a lot of potential over here for white, and then not so much here for black. Black now follows up with the techniques that we talked about, and then at this point, black decided to hop out because actually I'm gonna leave this as a discussion type of thing. Let's say, for example, if black says, hey, I want to just make sure I control the stone over here. What do you think black or white should play here, right? This is a great time to test your understanding. I'm not going to show you the answer here, but you can comment below the video, to state what you think, and we can talk in the comment section. So yeah, at this point, what should white play, right? I leave that as an exercise, and if you're interested, I highly encourage you to comment below the video. And I'll answer them as quickly as I can. All right, so black hops out. Obviously, he was scared of something. Now white harness, and then black blocks. This is just a normal exchange. And the next move, I really liked it. This shows the understanding of the game again. If you hurry, you play this, black will cap you inside. You can live under, but the problem is that the importance of this game, or I would say the key of this game, is not about you successfully living underneath or not. It's about influence. It's about control of the center. Right? That's why you should not play a move like this. When you play a move like this, these two moves, in a very subtle way, is really making these two stones secure. It's really making a wall on top, and then makes these two guys really make their lives really difficult. So this is a move that affects the whole game. Now, when we look at when white takes this move, all of a sudden, it's all different story. White is threatening to hop down, but this move is also helping these guys, right? Let's say this is what actually is played. Tang Weixin decided to hop back. Also, if Tang Weixin is a more of a influence player, he can also consider just hop out. I think that's also an interesting move. But what he played was totally fine, is to secure his territory. All of a sudden with this move, we can see that this connection over here, not so secure anymore. And then these two guys has a lot more vitality, right? Like it's gonna have, there's a common technique over here is to play out like this, and then maybe attach over here, right? Creating a lot of combinations over here, making these groups really hard to catch. Not only that, but also, as we can tell from the thing I talked about gravitational force, is that this move is very subtly coordinating with the two stones here, right? This is how awesome this move is. All right, so at this point, when black defends, white now further works on the idea, right? Still the same idea, not rushing, because if you still playing these beautiful techniques, something's gonna happen over here. Maybe black just backs down, or I don't know, like something like this happens. Maybe I don't even know what to play here. I actually wouldn't play, but let's say you play anything over here, but all of a sudden, actually I'm not too sure what black's gonna play, but this is not putting pressure on the black. So black is now free to maybe black is probably free to probably start doing something over here, reducing your influence, and then subtly, putting pressure on these two guys. That's probably something that I'm pretty much just guessing. I don't know the correct answer here. But when we look at what Shin is playing, it shows you the understanding, right? Suppressing black and also threatening these two guys. Now, if black just backs down like this, right, then this is a very favorable exchange for white, because this stone is not doing anything. It's not really protecting the territory because there's a leak here anyway. So in the actual game, black harness and white extends, black blocks, and then white actually harness here. The reason you cannot extend, this will be a very big mistake if you extend. The idea is that black's gonna push. If you extend, black is going to connect everything back. Now, all of a sudden, this is a very serious problem for white, because these two guys, I'm not sure what they're doing, right? Before I said it was, it was emanating threat towards the group, but now black's all connected. There's no problem. Black's all secure. This cutting point is non-existent. Black does not need to fix this anymore. And look at what these 5 white guys are doing. Not really too much. Well, in fact, white needs to be careful. If you just play whatever, maybe at some point black is going to cap white inside and then cut through this direction, and then white is like having 2 dead groups. That cannot connect. If you try to connect, I can cut you off in some sort of way, and then you have to sacrifice one side. Very serious deal, right? If you extend that's probably losing you the game for professional players like them. The actual game, white had to fight for this line. It's very important. Black cuts, white cuts on the 4th line, black hurries and then blocks. And now white made an exchange and then extend out. Black Ataris, white Ataris, black captures, and then white throws in. This is probably the first inaccuracy from Shin. The reason is that white should have just probably Atari here, right? Because black's not going to connect these 2 guys anyway. So this would give white a little bit more points. In the actual game, what happened is white throw in. That gives black a free capture, and then white Ataris, and at this point black obviously needs to Tanuki, right? So for single digit Q players, I know a lot of times you would just connect without thinking, but that would be a big mistake, because this move is not generating you any points and making you a very ugly shape. But the shape aside, just this move is so inefficient comparing to white's move over here. I'm not even sure white has to play this move. White would probably start like attacking you from here, right? This would be a very difficult game for black because of this. You pretty much lost the move by playing this. So at this point, Tang Weishin is a world champion. He understands that we can't let white do all the stuff I just played. So he decides to attach once, following the principle of invasion, attaching your opponent, making a move that gives you more options. These are all beautiful principles, right, that I repeated over and over in my invasion series. And now black has all kinds of possibilities. There's a pullback. If you capture this, black can probably follow up with the same principle, but if it doesn't, he can also play a move like this. This is going to get himself out. And yeah, these guys are just completely safe. And I'm not sure if white has enough territory to compete. So yeah, I think I'll end the video like here, because I pretty much presented what the opening is. At this point, Shin is a little bit, I think that the game is still deadly even, but Shin is lost a little bit of initial lead as a white player, because you start out at 57%, and at this point it's probably like a 50-50. I haven't checked with an AI, but if you know the answer, like as to what win rate it is at this point, you can comment below the video as well. But I guess at this point, we can tell that Tang Weixin is a very strong player when it comes to the understanding. Not connecting these two stones. This is not too hard for a professional player, but just throughout the game, Black has not made very obvious inaccuracies. I think Xing also played very well, except this throw in is a little bit inaccurate. The shoulder hit and hop out, the fifth line reduction move, very good understanding of Go. And now this leads to a very even game. So if you're interested in checking out a full game, I'll put the SGF below video. And if you have any questions, you can message me there as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time.